Hi, my name is Neil Shear, and for those of you that don't know me, I kind of sort of run a website called oldneil.com where I'm always exploring new avenues to do nothing, inactivity. Um, for those of you that like loafing around, are lugubrious, lethargic, who like going to bed very early and getting up very late, oldneil.com is a place for you. We just look at ways to do nothing. So, all right, couple bookkeeping things here. I don't have a teleprompter on this laptop, so I am going to be looking at my notes. And two, if you hear clocks in the background, I apologize in advance for that. I have quite a few and I don't shut them down, and so I don't hear them. I'm sort of like the person that lives next to a train track and the train goes by and they never hear it. I've just grown accustomed to it. But if you hear that in the background and it bothers you, I apologize in advance for it. Okay, I'm here today to talk to you about what I do best in life. And a few weeks ago, a friend of mine challenged me to come up with something that I do in life that would be of interest to a YouTube audience. And he made this challenge because I watch a lot of YouTube videos. I spend countless hours in front of that screen, but I make no apologies for it. Winston Churchill once quipped that he got more out of whiskey than whiskey ever got out of him, meaning that he never let whiskey be in control of him. And I feel the same way about YouTube, or at least that's what I tell myself. But his challenge was to say, all right, there must be something that you can do that would inform, educate, or entertain an audience. And I thought, well, that's really a good challenge, but it's devilishly difficult. And it's devilishly difficult because there are a lot of skilled and talented individuals in this world. And as you know, you can watch YouTube videos on how to sail around the world, how to become an opera singer, how to repair an automobile, or whatever. So I don't put myself down when I say, boy, I leave those areas to the experts. But there might be something here or there. Now, back in my day, a teacher would stand in a classroom in front of a blackboard for 50 minutes and lecture. There were no neat graphics, no cool editing tools, nothing. It was just up to the skill and the talents of the teacher to bring the subject to life, and some did that very, very well. So as I was mulling over my friend's challenge, I had that in mind about those talented teachers too. So he said, all right, think about it though, that within the things that you've done in life, there's gotta be something there, isn't there? So I said, all right, what have I done in life? I have a 40-year plus outdated computer science degree. I was a military pilot and I was an airline pilot, but there's tens of thousands of those. And I was a foreign affairs officer in the military, which, by the way, was some of the most interesting work I've ever done. It really, really was a lot of fun and challenging. But, a lot of people do those things and they can talk on them. So I just had to sit back and think. Now, in the house, I have to admit, I have a lot of easy chairs and sofas. These fine pieces of furniture are important to me. I never want to be too far of a position of rest, and so I have a chair here, a sofa there, another chair there, another sofa here or there. And when I have to think about difficult things like this challenge, that's where I went, to the easy chair and to the sofa. And I started to think about it, and I thought about it, and then it started to dawn on me. There I was, in the middle of the day, on the sofa. Now you might see where this is going. Middle of the day is when most people are working, when most people are getting things done, when most people are accomplishing stuff. And I was on the sofa. And it dawned on me, bingo, that's what I do best in life. I'm a layabout. I'm a layabout and an indolent par excellence. If I can borrow the phrase from the Black Eyed Peas, it's who I be, or it's what I do, it's who I be. It's what I do, it's who I be. So, now, I admit that indolence isn't the lifestyle for everybody. Not everybody's cut out just to be completely inactive all the time. But it was a perfect lifestyle for me, that's for sure. And I am and was a willing volunteer, so why not? Now, as contradictory as it sounds, I actually put a lot of effort into this energetic indolence, in which rest and relaxation are always the ultimate goal. Now, I'll work hard, I'll get stuff done, but that's always in the service of returning to that position of rest. For you see, inactivity is not something I fear, I actually embrace it, look forward to it. So, I'll contend that loafing is one of the best ways to pass the time of the day, but if you aren't convinced, and if you still believe that indolence is just a polite word for shirking duty or being slothful or malingering. After all, weren't we taught that these were very bad personality characteristics to have? That we were a bad person, and for some people even sinful if we were slothful? I got to admit, such talk really hurts me. I mean, what's wrong with a lifestyle that's not always geared toward endless work, striving, and achievement? What's wrong with taking a look at the road less traveled, even if your opinion, that road is just a path to Easy Street? And by the way, sloths are making a great comeback. I see them on t-shirts, I see them on coffee mugs, pajamas, they're on everything. So, you know, let's a little respect for the slothful. So, now, I always try to perform my assigned tasks to the best of my ability, and always did. Pride and professionalism demand, you know, nothing less. And besides, it's just easier to tuck into a job than it is to dally around all day trying to avoid the hard stuff. So to me, no, indolence doesn't mean shirking duty or doing a bad job, but it means maybe just not seeking out so much work in the first time. Well, what are you getting yourself into? That's my question about it. And nor do I wish to sound smug here. I mean, legions of hard-working people get up every day and get up early, and they work hard all day, and they fall exhausted into bed at night. So telling them to simply spend more time doing nothing is sort of insulting. And so I'm serious here. When I pay homage, I have the utmost respect for those who labor long in the vineyards of life. But what indolence truly is, however, is the perfect and most liberating antidote to a world that demands and then celebrates overachievers and type A personalities. The world in which average has a bad ring to it. There's the clock, by the way. And everything must be dolled up in the most hyperbolic and soaring language about the best of this and the best of that. Wow, okay. This is a world in which we're expected to do more and more to reach the next level. Well, what exactly is that mythical next level anyway? It doesn't strike me as being a rung on the ladder to a better life, but rather a rung on the never-ending hamster wheel that's just spinning along. So, thanks, but no thanks. Now, I'll concede, I understand that we need the great and the good to get things done and for there to be progress in life. And who can criticize particularly ambitious and creative souls who have deeply enriched our cultural lives by just really working hard? Johann Sebastian Bach, Paul McCartney, anybody? I mean, there's, tons of others too. So hats off to those folks. Now, what I'm talking about here is a specific subset of high achievers and productivity mavens. They're the ones who smother us like a wet blanket and make life hard for those of us who do not share their same motivations. Unfortunately, these people are powerful, and from their perches of power, way up above, they shape the public into thinking that ceaseless striving and toil is mandatory. Give it your best, add a little bit, lean forward in the saddle, put your shoulder to the stone. By gosh, you know all these things. You've heard them. If you've ever been a worker bee, you hear them constantly. Be a part of the team. Okay, I admit the great and good's accomplishments are impressive. These are the people that simultaneously now train for a marathon, earn doctorates in nanotechnology, hike across Antarctica, and master the Sanskrit of the Upanishads so they can read these works in the original tongue. It's a little bit much though, isn't it? It's a little bit rich for me. Must I always be reminded of their greatness? And worse still, must I constantly see their best-selling books when I'm walking through the airport and taking a peek at the bookstore? You know these titles. 15 Ways to a Better You, ghost written, obviously, by somebody up at their level. Okay, these elites basically make us feel guilty that we don't have the same rocket fuel in our tanks that they do, that we are lesser beings somehow for constantly not seeking that 5-star rating in Amazon, as if our lives are an Amazon review. And Neil only got a 2.5 star or a 1 star. Okay, fair enough. At some point, even the late esteemed Dr. Maslow, remember him of the hierarchy of needs if you ever took a psychology course, has to concede, or would have to have conceded, that this level of self-actualization shouldn't be the end goal in life. Frankly, I've found a good many of these shooting stars, and I've met some, as talented and gifted as they are staggeringly tone deaf to the beauty and nuances of everyday life. They are, I believe it's safe to say, among the least reflective people imaginable, because they are constantly, holidays included, so task-focused that it's hard for them to spend a moment to look inward. I get it. Their goals are not mine. They have different goals. Yet, just as I do not understand them, they do not understand me. So, how then do I live? All right, quick review. Well, I'm retired, so I have a little more free time now than most people, but honestly, I don't live any differently than I have for decades. Here's a short summary. I get up in the morning about 9:30 or 10, sometimes later. This morning I got up about 10:20. And I'll start by reading, catching up on reading. And I'm talking about a lot. Essays, books, emails, articles, reviews of books, things like that. I'll play the drums or the bongos for an hour, and I'll try to get a workout in. I'll putter about with things such as home repair, mowing the lawn, doctor's appointments, doing this or that. I'll eat a late lunch, usually about 2 o'clock, have a chat with friends, catch up with them, putter about some more, do things like check aviation news, which I still have an interest in, and sports scores. And after taking care of these really serious matters, I'll buckle down to the most important stuff, and that's seeing if the Amazon delivery truck has arrived with the constant onslaught of books and swag that I always order late at night. You might have done the same thing. Now, before you dismiss this lifestyle out of hand, might I point you to 2 important clips from Hugh Grant's outstanding movie about a boy. And I'll have those links in this video description, by the way. In the first, he relates how he has so much to do during the day that he just really can't grasp how anybody would have time to work. He divides his life up sort of like I did in units, and then he realizes there's just not a whole lot of time left over for work. In the second scene, he's chatting up a female at a New Year's Eve party when he admits with an air of bemusement that I don't actually do anything. Now, I found one of the most beautiful lines in the English language, to be honest. I mean, we're talking Shakespeare, John Milton, and even for some people, Beavis and Butthead. I mean, I don't actually do anything. Wow. Really? How cool is that? So, now, while some might argue that Hugh Grant's character in this film is a little bit self-centered, and that he needs to grow up, that the film itself is just light entertainment, I actually find it to be a flight plan of sorts. Way to guide me through life. Sound dull? Okay. Well, have you ever actually tried this level of inactivity? And with all due respect, I bet you haven't. That's why I'm making this video, to help you. Now, there's no overnight success, mind you, but indolence can be achieved step by step. I'm here to help you. Okay. Silly, you're saying. Let's not be silly. All right. I'll be serious for a moment. The type A personalities of this world, overachievers, would dismissively state that mine is a life without purpose because it's not centered around specific goals and obvious achievement. Naturally, I disagree. The lack of purpose is exactly the point. And what is obvious achievement anyway? Good heavens. I admit that my daily activities might not amount to much, But they do afford me the opportunity to do other things, to help other people, for instance, and there's always someone in need of a helping hand. I can spend more time working on my listening skills. Ask any of my friends, and they probably tell you they wish that I were a better listener. And I also have the opportunity to go down paths of interest and see where they go. Rabbit trails, as they're called today. So follow those. For you see, what might appear at first to be a life without purpose is one that is afforded the opportunity to discover the surprising depths and meaning that's present in the most routine aspects of our life. And that's what I'm getting at. For I argue that indolence affords us that opportunity to enjoy the little things just as much as we do the big things. Not to get too philosophical here about it, but you've met people who haven't been able to enjoy anything. I mean, if they can't enjoy little stuff, how are they going to enjoy the big stuff? They're not mutually exclusive. And indolence allows you to enjoy the entire range of it. You can gain pleasure from the littlest stuff. Now, sure, no one wants a life of monotony and drudgery, but not being on the hamster wheel of achievement does not mean that one's automatically condemned to the bleak house of mindless repetition. Quite the opposite, in fact. So, let's tie a bow on all this. The secret to the path of indolence is to continually remind oneself that there's always a less strenuous way to do something. And then if you're the type of person who has to have a goal, the goal then should be to quickly finish those tasks so you can return to the position of rest, relaxation, and leisure. Sure, work hard when necessary, but for heaven's sakes, don't make it too obvious. Remember, understatement is the classiest of all virtues, so avoid at all costs appearing like a striver. It's really a bad look. I mean, the English used to have this phrase of, effortless superiority. It's just this whole idea of understatement. And, if you're going to be a high achiever, then just do it in an understated way for us, please. So, being an indolent means first and foremost enjoying things, life's most mundane moments. The indolent appreciate nuance, subtlety, and the opportunity for reflection. At the very least, please agree with me that avoiding a frenetic lifestyle yields contentment. And to an indolent, contentment means never being bored. Look, I'm honest with myself. I realize I'm fighting an uphill battle here as I try to enlist troops into the army of the indolent. Years ago, I formed an organization called Excellence and Indolence. You might have remembered all those books that were, excellence and excellence and excellence in all we do and pursuit of excellence and all that kind of stuff. And so I formed Excellence and Indolence. Now, unfortunately, I was the only member. Nobody else wanted to join up, thinking maybe it was just an idea that was too far ahead of its time. But nevertheless, I maintain my commitment to the cause. I'm there every day, soldiering on toward indolence. There's nothing to sign up for. No emails, no dues, no membership lists, nothing. Remember that old joke, if you don't have anything that you need to have done, I'm the man for the job. So in the meantime, rally with me, just from time to time, if you will, under that banner, under that flag of inactivity and indolence. And never forget the battle cry, hi-ho, hi-ho, it's off to the easy chair we go. Thanks for listening. All the notes are in the video description, links. I have stuff in there about the letter L being one of the most beautiful language for the layabout, and leisure, lugubrious, lethargic, lounge, loaf, all that good stuff. I have a little discussion in the notes about Oblomov, and I have a written copy of this as well, should you be so interested. All right, very good day, and this time of year, I wish you a Merry Christmas. Thank you.